Hey everyone, this is Tutor Brian. I'm going over a new video series I'm doing. It's about studying techniques that I have personally used in the past for school to improve my retention, to learn concepts better, to improve my grades. And the first technique I like to talk about is using flashcards. And everyone may have their own experience or knowledge of how to use flashcards. I'm just going to go over how I personally had used them. It's a technique I had learned as far back as middle school that I've used throughout high school and college. The way I do these is I take 3x5 index cards and then I cut them in half. Well, the easy way to do it is just to fold it in half and then cut it using scissors. And then I just use a smaller card because I don't write that big. I don't need to fit in a whole lot on one card. Now the way I do it is on one side I put either things that I want to remember, important terms, vocabulary words. For example, these are medical terminologies from scoliosis, medical condition. Piriformis is a muscle. Moving on, this is from foreign language. Sospechar is a Spanish word. And here, hype, these are prefixes for, if I remember correctly, it was from Latin and Greek terminology. Now, on the back side of the cards, I put definitions, translations, important notes that I want to know about what's on the front, the word on the front. So here, scoliosis, lateral curvature of spine, etc. Piriformis, what the piriformis does. Hip external rotation, where it inserts and originates these bones here. Sospechar, the Spanish word, I put on the back the translation, to suspect. And hypo or hype, I put on the back below or less than normal. Now, when I use flashcards, I do 3 types of run-throughs. I go one way, read the front, then the back, and then I go back and do the other way, read the back and then the front. Then I do the writing part. Now, for example, I'm going to assemble a small deck of 5 cards here that I'm going to show how I would study using the flashcard system. And what I really recommend is for definitions or notes that are really long is to start with that side first. For example, if I was studying scoliosis, I would start with this side first, then go on to this side. But let's say it was a foreign language, I would do the foreign language part first and then the English part second. Okay, so like I want to learn what sospechar means. I look at the card and I read the back, which is to suspect. And when I test myself, I'm going to look at the word and say, what does sospechar mean? And I remember it means to suspect. Okay, it's easier to do it that way first and then go back and do it this way, to suspect. What does that mean in Spanish? Sospechar. Yep. So for a foreign language, I would read the foreign language first, then do the English part. Now, for the words and terms with long definitions, or longer definitions than what is on the front side, I would start with the front side first. So let's pretend this is a run through of studying with flashcards. I start with the back side with the definitions. Beside and disordered, I'm going to read it, then I flip it around, and then I see it's para or pair. And I do 2 or 3 more times. Beside or disordered means para or pair. Beside or disordered means is para or pair. Beside, disordered, para or pair. And put it down. Next one. After changed, meta or met. After changed, meta or met. After changed, meta or met. After changed, meta, met. And put it down. Before in front of is pro. Before in front of, pro. Before or in front of, pro. Before or in front of, pro. Put it down. And the next one. Around or near, peri. Around or near, peri. Around or near, peri. below, less than normal, hypo or hype, below, less than normal, hypo or hype, below, less than normal, hypo or hype. Now, I'm going to reorder, starting with the one I learned first, put that, then the one I learned second, then the one I learned third, and then the one I learned fourth and fifth. Actually, I want to put it the definition side on the bottom. Okay, and then now the second part is, well, actually this is still the first part, but now I'm testing myself. Before I was learning, now I'm testing myself. I'm going to look at the definition part beside disordered and try to remember what was the word on the other side. And I think it was para or pair. I look and I check it's correct. Next one, after or changed, meta or met. Yep, got it right. Around or near, peri. Yep, got it right. Before, in front of, pro. Yep, got it right. And then the next one, below, less than normal, hypo or hype. Yes, correct. Now let's say for example I got it wrong. If I did get it wrong, what I would do is do the run through of just the one card 3 or 4 more times. Say I got this one wrong, I would read it again. Below, less than normal, hypo or hype. Below, less than normal, hypo or hype. Below, less than normal, hypo or hype. So whenever that happens, you make a mistake, you just do the card again 3 more times, read it through 3 more times, and then you can actually go test yourself again. Go test yourself again until you get it all right. And then after that, you can move on to the second phase where you go to the front side first. Okay? And if you can actually start over again where you read the front, hypo hype, then the back. Below, less than normal, hypo hype, below, less than normal, hypo hype, below, less than normal. And let's say I did the whole deck again like that, reading through again. Now the testing part, I'm going to look at the front now, hypo or hype, and try to remember what was the definition on the back. And I remember it's below, less than normal. Yep, okay. Then the next one, para or pair. I think it means around. No, that's, I think that was peri. Para or pair is less than normal. Oh, I was wrong. It means beside or disorder. So I got this one wrong. I have to redo reading 3 times. Para, pair, beside, disorder. Para, pair, beside, disorder. Para, pair, beside, disorder. And the next one, meta or met. I think it means changed, and I don't remember the other one. It also means after. Okay, so meta, met, after changed. Meta, met, after changed. Meta, met, after change. So kind of get the idea of what's going on here. When I'm testing myself and I get it wrong, I have to read it again, and the more times I keep doing it, the repetition is going to help me remember it better, and then eventually I'm going to have a perfect run through. I go through the whole deck of cards and not make one mistake at all. It's going to take some time, especially, you know, actually making the cards themselves, but the time put in and then the focused way of studying like this, it's gonna help with retaining the knowledge better. And then I'm about to go into part 3 of using, or the third phase of using flashcards, and it's the writing phase. Okay, now for the third phase of studying using flashcards, it's the writing phase. This is where I write what I see in front of me, before, in front of. Okay, I'm going to write it on my paper, before, in front of, and then, right now I'm testing myself, but I'm writing it down. So before, in front of, I think that was pro. So I'm going to write pro, and I'm going to check myself. Pro, I was correct. So I move on. Next one, around or near. I write it on the paper, around or near. That was, I think that's para, Or no, I think that's Perry. Perry. And check, I was correct. And then let's say I did the whole thing, I would have 5 more words here with definitions and so on. And let's say that I got those all correct. And let's say I'm going through the other side this time, going from front to back. Okay, and I read the front, pro. I write pro and I try to write exactly what I remember it means from the back side. Pro is before or in front of. Okay, and I check. It's correct. And let's skip through some more cards and let's say I'm doing this. Let's say I'm doing this last one right here. Meta. Okay. Meta or met, and I'm going to try to write what I remember it means. And let's say what I remember from meta or met is changed, and I'm not sure what else, so I'm going to check myself. Oh, it also means after. Meta or met also means after. I forgot that part, so technically I didn't get this absolutely perfectly right. So what I would do is, similar to how I do the 3 times read through, I would do go to the paper and then just kind of like a sub bullet point. This is where I relearn meta, met. I write it again and I write it means after or changed. 2 more times. Meta or met after changed. Meta or met means after changed. And after doing this, for all the ones I get incorrect, I would go back, test myself again until I have a perfect paper where it's term, definition, next term, next definition, next term, next definition is all correct. And that way I know that my memory of the things I'm learning is improved. Alright, thanks for watching, and the study techniques will be continued on the next video.